Okay, what is up everyone? Today we're going to have a tutorial on how to use Photoshop. Basically, I'm going to kind of take this a little simple with you guys. It's the first episode. We're going to just do some basic things. I would like to mention, because I just figured this out today, there is a fix out for those of you that may be using Mac OS and you have tablets. Apparently there's a bit of a bug with Photoshop CC 2013 where your tablet will cause your shortcuts to stop working. Now, if you're one of those people like me that is a shortcut maniac and kind of memorizes them and employs them in their daily work, this can be quite frustrating for you. There is a plugin available on Adobe's website if you happen to still use 2013. I know 2014 is out, but I don't use it. I don't want to use it because I'm not trained for it. So there you go. If you are having that issue, that fix is available on help.adobe.com, something like that. Just head over there and look for the white window fix, I believe it's called. And it's just a plugin you guys download, install, and it's going to make your life so much easier. Anyway, onto the tutorial. This is not a welcome tutorial. If you guys would like a welcome tutorial, feel free to let me know. However, today we are going to show you how to do some basic selections in Photoshop. I'm going to show you a few things, maybe demonstrate with a few images, but really the point of today is to get you guys to understand the selection tools and how they work, why they work, which ones to use for certain things, and hopefully we can accomplish that pretty quickly. So I'm making a new layer right here, and we have a just blank layer, transparent. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my brush tool right here, turn my hardness to 100, bring this up a little bit. Of course, I'm going to turn my pen pressure on so you guys can see that's controlled by my pen. Okay, so just undo all that real quick because we don't want that there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here and go here and go here and come back around and go over here and go here and like that. Okay. So we have a mess of black right here. Now, what most people will do is they'll say, oh, let's go for the magic wand tool. They're going to select this and like, okay, so that's fine. Now, while we have this selected, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command Shift I to inverse that selection. I keep thinking Command Option I for image size because I've been doing that all day. But anyway, it is Command Shift I to inverse your selection right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command Backspace to make that white. Now I just do Command D to go ahead and deselect all that. Now, so what we have right here is a bunch of black with some white. Now, if I select this black still with the magic wand, or as I like to call it, tragic wand sometimes, you're going to pretty much get it. So if I go ahead and jump this layer, and for whatever reason, I'm going to go ahead and make this black down here. I'm going to turn this off. So now this is why I call it the tragic wand, and you guys are going to see this really, really quick, is that on this, there is still a little bit of white left. Now, a lot of people ask me why this happens, and I am not a technical guru. I do not program Photoshop, so I can't tell you the answer why this happens, but I can tell you this is why I don't use the magic wand, or as I said, I call it tragic wand in my workflow. There are some times when the magic wand will come in handy. There are some times when it won't. This is just one of these times where the tool decides, I'm gonna make you have a bad day. So this is, kind of what the tragic wand itself will do, is when you select things, sometimes it just isn't perfect and you get this little outline effect, which most people don't like. Now I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and remove that little effect. Now, if I go ahead and I select this, I can bring up Refine Edge. Now, a beautiful thing about Refine Edge, I'm going to put this on black real quick. Whoops. There we go. All right, so on black, you can already see right here. I'm going to zoom in for you guys, but you can already see. Wait, forgot to bring that there. There. Now, I'm just going to zoom in for you guys so you guys can clearly see right here we have this little line still. Now, what Refine Edge does is it fixes small mistakes. Now, sometimes Refine Edge will work, and sometimes it won't. It's really one of those things that you have to, I'd say, really mess around with to get perfect, because rarely ever is it going to be perfect for you. It's just a sad fact of life. Refine Edge doesn't like to make people's lives nice. Sometimes decontaminating the color can help. Like, see, it starts to fade out over here a little bit. Sometimes turning the shifting edge and turning that back can sometimes help. I'm trying to see if I can actually get that to fully disappear. It's being a real pain, that's for damn sure. Turn decontaminate off. Turn that back up. Maybe a little bit of smart radius. Okay, so smart radius is slowly clearing that out of there. I can see it slowly disappearing from the top. Alright, so on my screen, it's not really visible anymore. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit OK for that. I'm going to turn this off. And I'm going to show you guys essentially what happened now. The Refine Edge considerably screwed this up, but it did remove the outer white edge. Now I'm going to show you guys a little bit more of how to fix this without per se screwing yourself. So I'm going to put this back on here. Now, if we want to get this little bit of white right here, sometimes I actually like to select the white over the black, and there are reasons for doing that. You guys will quickly learn them. So I'm just going to get that in there. Just get a little bit of white right there. I want to get this white in here. Okay, perfect. Now, chances are this is not going to be perfect. So if we go ahead and refine edge, and I want this to be on black. Oh, wait, of course, forgot to inverse the selection. So inverse that for you guys. Back to refine edge. View it on black. Now this is still here, of course. Now, something that I have been taught that sometimes fixes this is just doing this. But unfortunately, that seems to not be the case. So that's just unfortunate. It's not going to work. Sometimes Smart Radius, I said, will fix this. Now, as you can see, Smart Radius is doing a little bit there, but it's not doing a lot. Sad fact of life. Decontaminate colors is sometimes going to do stuff. Sometimes it won't. And you guys are going to find that this is just essentially unavoidable, and you're always going to have a little bit of white. So personally, what I recommend doing instead of using tools like this is pen tool is a great option. Now, this is not going to be a vector tutorial, of course, but pen tool is the greatest option for precision. You can curve things, you can hold down option, of course, right here. You get end curves, you can make another curve, however you guys really want to do it. It's really a, you can go kind of crazy with this tool, just put it that way. Go really crazy with it. So, anyway, we don't want to be doing that today, but just to show you guys, essentially, there's always going to be a bit of an issue, and that's kind of the downside to Photoshop. So there you guys go. Now, back to selections. I'm going to try and bring up an image to kind of explain how this works. Let's see if I can bring up an option quickly from... Okay, I know what we can do. We can go ahead and do a little bit of editing of me, and I can show you guys how selections can work for rendering things or sometimes taking things out of the images. Now, I would like to have a somewhat high quality one. I'll just let... yeah, go ahead and we'll do this one. So, just going to go ahead and Command 0 that, get that up there. You guys are going to notice I drill shortcuts a lot, and I do have my reasons for doing so. Of course, there's lasso tool, which I do recommend for fixing things. Some people have told me, so maybe you want to get a ellipse. So like maybe like a crescent moon type of thing. So you can do that. You can hold down your option key. And you also want to hold down your space bar. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go up here. And now I'm going to do option. I'll hold my shift. And I'm just going to drag another one of these. Why is this? There we go. Okay, so now just get that right there. Why did that not work? Did I just break something? I might have actually broken something. Okay, hang on. Okay. Okay. Where are you now? There we go. Okay. Now, sometimes, there we go. So sometimes there is a little bit of a bug where if you press too many keys, some things like to get a little and it's also not very easy because I'm trying to work around without bumping my mic because I have my mic right next to my tablet. But you can do kind of selections like this where it has shapes. You can fill selections, you can deselect, you can reselect. It's there's a lot of options for selection, and it's very, very important that you guys understand how to do selections. So just one thing to keep in mind for you guys. So one thing I see a lot of people do is they'll like make an ellipse and they'll be like, oh, there's like a little piece in here that I just don't want. Now, some people go in with quick selection. What I usually recommend is lasso tool is absolutely amazing for doing refining on selections. You can cut little pieces out. You can also put pieces in. So hit this key and I decide, oh, here to here. All right, so you guys can do some kind of weird things with lasso. You can do things away from it, things over here. I don't like that, so I'm just go ahead and move that there, move that there. So you can do some really crazy things, and of course you can move all these selections around. I could take a cleave out of my face. Okay, go to my eraser here, tragic eraser. If you actually use this tool, I have no hope for you, honestly. You shouldn't. Because, of course, you're going to end up something like this because this layer is locked. It's not going to become transparent. It'll become white. So, there you guys go. So now, back to selection tools. So you got your quick selection here, magic wand. These are things you can usually quickly go over things like, see, I just generally selected myself in a matter of seconds, mixed a few pieces here, and obviously you're going to have to go in and, do a little bit of refining. You're bound to have missed little pieces. Like, see the hair. Just select a little bit of the hair. Yeah, once you get stuff like that in there, you can refine edge and take care of that real quick. Now, this is not a class on refine edge, so I'm not going to be showing you guys too much of that. It's just mainly selections. So single row marquee tool, honestly, I'll be honest to God, I've never used this ever. I don't know what this is. I don't know what it does, but I've never used it. Probably never will. I'm sure it has some sort of a function, but I've never used it. Never used that one either. Rectangular, of course, it's very nice. You can do some considerably cool things. Of course, you can hold down shift, get your squares. Same thing applies. Alt, you can remove things. You can remove squares. Or sometimes if you hold that shift down wrongly. See, one thing people don't understand is if you go and you hit shift and then you start to drag and you get your squares, some things actually do break. So it's one thing to be careful of. If you want to remove, what you first need to do is hold down your alt key, drag, then shift, remove. So that's how that goes. if you hold down shift before you start dragging, you're actually just going to do some crazy things that you probably don't want. So keep that in mind. Of course, same thing works for your elliptical. You can do ellipse like that, like that, like that. You can add ellipses. You can add ellipses that might be, you know, circles. So like that. You can do subtraction. You can subtract circles. Of course, you get your crescents. So there's that. You've got your polygon lasso tool, which is considerably simple. Drag, 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 double click, done. And you can make shapes like this. It's weird stuff. So also there's magnetic lasso, which I'll show you guys real quick. It's a little temperamental, especially if you're working on things that may look considerably close to each other. But in some cases, the tool can be very accurate, especially when there's very high contrast. Now, obviously, as I said, I do not code for Adobe, so I can't tell you how these tools essentially work, but this tool pretty much works on contrast. When things are easy to tell, like especially black on white, this is a very nice tool, and it's very accurate with how it does its stuff. Except for right there, but that's like you could just backspace that all the way if you really didn't like that and just keep going, and that's how that goes. Of course, double click is the one before, should fix you up there. Okay, so we've shown magnetic lasso, we've shown polygonal, we've shown lasso, we've shown rectangular, elliptical, and we've also shown clicking this. Now there are some other ways of doing selections. For example, say I wanted to select all the black. I could, no, that's a bad selection. Alright, so I got a little circle black there. I could go up here to select. Now, of course, there's controls for inverse. I've mentioned the shortcuts all the time. Deselect, Command A for select all. It's very, very simple. There's refine edge, of course. Modify. It goes like that. Similar is going to select similar things. Now, of course, it's very temperamental, and I recommend, you know, kind of staying away from that because sometimes it's just not going to get what you want. For example, maybe if I were to select this little bit of white here, and I go ahead over to select and go to similar, you see it starts getting in the background, but it does sometimes get what you want. You can use grow to grow your selection, and as you can see, it's considerably useful. So get that right there. Get a little grow in there. Now, of course, it gets hair in there sometimes, but as I said, for certain situations, it can be a very useful tool. There's color range, where you can basically go over here, and let's say, I'm going to try and get this little pink right here. Okay, is it getting the pink? I can't tell. It might not be getting the pink. Alright, so see now what it's actually doing is, you can see there, oh, it's getting that white in there. However, I want to try and get that bit of pink. So see what it's actually doing is it's getting a little crazy with it. It does see the pink, like you can clearly see this little outline right here where it's got that line. It's seeing your pink. Unfortunately, skin tones are not the nicest things. Like, so you can try yellow, and you can try working with that. Of course, you're going to get a little bit of skin tone in that as well. Green is sometimes a very nice one to work with, but of course, nothing is perfect. Especially when colors are next to green. Like, for example, I could do greens like this. Okay. Okay, so Doesn't like that. You do color range and try for reds. Reds are obviously going to come a lot. Skin tones. Yellows, probably going to come up a little bit. Cyans, you might get a little bit in that. Highlights, of course, tons. Skin tones, like, see, you can do this. And come on, see, like, it's a pretty accurate right there for skin tones, except for the fact that it gets a little bit back here, but, you know, what are you going to do? Anyway, thank you guys for watching my tutorial on doing, you know, basic selection. If you have any suggestions for the next episode, something you would like to see, feel free to leave it down there. I'm probably going to be planning to go through using the brush as well as a little bit of tablets. So if you guys are excited for that, stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Peace out, everybody.